Hi, I'm Scott Patsko here with Joe Noga, and state semifinals are done. We're going to kind of take a look back at some of the things that kind of stood out for us over the weekend. We had 4 teams make it through, which I think is the 3rd straight year. We've had 4 teams from Northeast Ohio make it to the football state finals. Before we get into that, we did want to remind everybody about our playoff picks contest, the final week coming up. The grand prize is up for grabs, but you can also win $100 for getting the most picks right this week, I believe, as well as the overall grand prize. It's pretty easy to do. Just sign up. It's quick and easy and free. And you just go through and pick the winners, and whoever picks the most each week wins. So be sure to check that out. As for this weekend, we have 4 teams: Mogadore, Kirtland, St. Edward, Archbishop Hoban. I don't think there's any real big surprises there. I know Mogadore moving down to Division 7. I know for me, I thought that they would have an easier path, especially with Marion Local moving up to Division 6. Not that it was easy to get through the playoffs, but certainly I think they were a team that looked at as a favorite at the beginning of the year. And then Kirtland in Division 6. Past 2 years, I think people have expected this run to end. You know, last year they had a couple close games, and everybody's like, oh, you know, Kirtland's not the dominant team they once were, and they end up back in the state final. This year they lose a game, which I think, you know, caught everybody off guard in the regular season, and here they are again. Either of those teams a surprise for you?
I think Kirtland getting there actually is you've got a school that's graduated seniors who have played in 60 games as high school players, and those guys aren't there anymore. And it's just a testament to Tiger Laverty and, you know, the hard work that his kids have put in. He said that they've taken what those classes that have gone before them have done, those guys that have played those 60 games, and now those underclassmen who were there are really succeeding. And you know, you've got Evan Madden, you've got David Alchin, you've got a backfield that can really move the ball. They're going up against Marion Local though, and Marion Local is probably one of the most consistent and toughest opponents for a low division team in all of Ohio.
Mm-hmm. I think if you look at small school football, you know, Marion Local, Kirtland, Mogadore are kind of what you want to model your programs after. So you watched Archbishop Hoban make it to the state final. What was your takeaway from their performance?
The takeaway there was you've got, you know, all season long we've been hearing about Hoban's big 3. Todd Sibley, Danny Clark, the Ohio State commits, Jonah Morris, the Michigan State commit. What happened when they went up against Zanesville knew this. They were going to stack the box. They were going to stop Todd Sibley the run. So Hoban decided the game plan was to loosen them up, throw downfield. It didn't matter if they incomplete passes. They wanted to back those safeties away from the line, and that's what happened in the second half. And Tim Terrell, brilliant game plan. Danny Clark sort of sacrificed his stats for the betterment of the team. Todd Sibley busts an 81-yard run, and Hoban makes it to the state finals, a game where Todd Sibley and Danny Clark are going to play on Ohio Stadium turf, where they hope to play one day as Buckeyes.
Yeah, down the line. Passing game is kind of my takeaway as well. I saw St. Edward and Stowe, and Stowe obviously was focused on stopping Cole Guest, and they did a pretty good job of slowing down the St. Edward's running game. And in the first half, it was kind of interesting. St. Edward passed and threw 17 times each, and usually that's really leaning towards the run side on that stat. But quarterback Jimmy Keefe kind of came through. They do a lot of short passes, but he did connect on some long ones. I think it was a 42-yarder to Carl Jones for their first touchdown, and proved that this isn't a one-dimensional offense. You know, the passing game had only been completing about 50% of their passes, but in this game, I believe Keefe was 14 of 16 in the 2 touchdowns. Stat line for him has kind of been all over the place this year, but going into the state final, I think they give Huber Heights Wayne a little bit more to think about on offense. It's not just Cole Guest, you know, and it's not just the running game. It's the passing threat as well. So I think that was my biggest takeaway, is seeing Eds probably play their most complete game, really in all phases in that semifinal. So, all right, that's it for us. We want to know what you think. Be sure to let us know what your biggest takeaway was from the 4 teams that made it down to the state finals, and you can leave it here in the comments section below. And we'll see you next week.